Alright guys, I know it has been a minute since you've seen a My Hero Ultra Rumble video from me, but to be completely honest, it's literally because I don't want to make just, bait videos that go over the same news over and over again, and there hasn't been any massive updates for My Hero Ultra Rumble. When they do come out, like All For One coming out or new quirk skill sets or stuff like that, I make sure to cover it because I am still enjoying the game to an extent. There is a slight problem with I would love to show you guys the quirk skill sets, try them out in game and stuff like that, but unfortunately there is no way to even test the quirk skill sets outside of practice in a real game without pulling them. So I mean, the gacha system is just not great for My Hero Ultra Rumble. If it's a battle royale game like this, right, it's tough to have a gacha at the same time. I'm a big fan of gacha games. Obviously a lot of my channel is gacha games. I play gacha games and they're very, very different from what My Hero Ultra Rumble is. And I hate that My Hero Ultra Rumble presents itself as a gacha game, because if they just had a different model that let us buy the quirk skill sets, buy the characters and stuff like that, I guarantee you they'd make as much money. People wouldn't be so mad as feeling like they're just unlucky and hating the game, leaving the game ultimately because they literally can't play the character they want to play. Let's face it, new quirk skill sets are like playing a new character and you can't even play them. And then also, the tickets have been updated to where now you have to spend 3 tickets to try the newest characters once per day, which is great, but if you don't pull the character, you can't play them more. So there's just, the gacha system is the biggest problem with this, not to mention the other problem with the game right now that really has me wondering where the game's going to go is the fact that they mentioned crossplay so long ago, at least for consoles, and we still haven't seen crossplay for consoles, which would be very, very cool, and it would help the game immensely, help it grow immensely, help the player base grow so much more to be so much bigger than what it is right now. So there's a lot of things with the game that just kind of kill the hype. They don't post on Twitter about big things. I mean, their big thing was hey, the anime is returning, here's some gold. They gave us the 50 tickets originally and then they gave us gold, and it's everybody's just okay, this is what we expected. You're just going to give us the shaft. If it was tickets every week, would have been great with the removal of the login bonus, but I don't want this video to be negative either, but I just have to go on a little rant right here. These are the problems. Any devs who happen to watch this, we want these fixed. If you guys agree, go down there, hit that like button as well, so maybe they'll see this video. More people who see this video, maybe the devs will see it or something like that. I don't know what to do at this point, but those are kind of the problems I have in my head. I don't have a list in front of me or anything, but that's just off the top of my head, the things that I find that make it a struggle to continue playing this game. Now, with that said, we do have a few things to look forward to in this game, and thanks to Hydros, recently on the database, which is what we're looking at right here, we do have some updated stuff. So we have the updated emblems here, and then below I'm going to show you guys emblems for things that are not yet in the game, which, are very hype. And we knew about these emblems a while ago, I'm not going to lie to you, but Hydros has also found voice lines for characters that are not yet in the game, and we're going to take a look at those as well. So if you scroll to the bottom of emblems here on the Ultra Rumble database, we do have these characters here that are very, very hype. So I feel like this is a good video to talk about content on, because like I said, I don't want to just make clickbait videos that don't really tell you anything. Now, like I said, all of these we kind of already knew about, but we discussed this months ago. So if you're new to the game, maybe you haven't ever seen these before. And so what these are is they are unreleased emblems of characters that will be coming to the game. Among them, originally we had All For One and Twice. Well, guess what? All For One and Twice have now been released, so they're no longer in the unreleased emblems section, okay? And that leads me to my next point. These are going to be the characters that are going to be releasing next. Some of these characters have voice lines, some of them do not. For example, Kurogiri does not have voice lines. Shinso does not have voice lines in the game. So what does that mean? Kurogiri and Shinso are both probably a little bit further out when it comes to their release in game compared to some of these other characters, okay? Also, I don't think President Mike actually has voice lines in the game outside of his announcements for the game itself, so he might also be a ways out. But then at the same time, when we take a look at Hydros' YouTube page here in a minute, you're gonna see that we have voice lines for characters that don't have emblems here. There is voice lines for characters that don't have emblems yet, which is very, very interesting, so we'll have to see how that ends up working out in the game. But if you were to ask me who my guess is for the next character, I think personally it's probably going to be either Hawks or maybe Mirio or Nejire. I would expect probably maybe Mirio next. I don't know. Hawks or Mirio is probably my like top 2 guesses. They could just totally go off on a limb though, and they could do Overhaul. They've given us 2 villains, but maybe the villain pool isn't big enough yet for them, so they want to add at least one more villain to the villain pool. So maybe they'll do Overhaul next. I really don't know who they're going to do next, but I think a lot of people are anticipating Hawks. I think Hawks would be a big release, especially with the return of the anime, right? So I feel like Hawks would be a good character for the Ultra Rumble devs to release, to try to get some hype behind the game and stuff like that. So, but all of these characters definitely coming to the game at some point, hopefully sometime this year. It could be pushed into 2025, we don't know exactly, and they release characters so slowly as a gacha game. That's my other big gripe. You know, most gacha games, mobile games, release characters or content every 2 weeks or so. This game releases content like once a month, essentially. They release a character and then they release a quirk skill set. I guess now they're releasing 2 quirk skill sets within the 2-month period of a season, but like, it's just, man, not enough content releases, not enough hype behind the gacha aspect side of the game, and that's really what needs to be worked on at this point. Or remove the gacha, make it like you can just buy the things outright and the game becomes immensely better, but who knows. Let's take a look at Hydros' YouTube page. Alright, so here we have Hydros' YouTube page, and you can see we have Mina, who did not have a character emblem. So she has voice lines for the game already, which I find really interesting. We have Mirio, we have Tamaki, we have Overhaul, we have Nejire, and then we also have Hawks right here. Okay, but I want to point out, look at the video links on these. We got 1 minute 45 seconds for Amajiki, we got 4 minutes 34 seconds for Mirio, we got 6 minutes somehow for Mina, but then if we look at Hawks, he has the longest at 6:52. So that leads me to believe that characters that have the longer videos are probably more or less ready to go, or at least closer to being ready to go than the other characters, because they got the voice lines done, they got the emblems, right? Hawks has the emblem and the voice line, so I feel like Hawks is more than likely going to be one of the next characters to release, whereas on the other hand, characters like Mirio, he only has 4 minutes and 34 seconds of audio. Maybe that's all he has. Maybe that's all he has in the game. Hard to say. But Amajiki, he didn't have an emblem, and he only has 1 minute 45 seconds of audio, so he is probably almost definitely not coming to the game anytime soon. He will be later. And then we have Overhaul at 6:39, so he has a pretty good amount of time on his video. He's second most after Hawks, right? So he could be coming next. Hard to say. He does have his emblem as well, so there's a lot of potential characters coming to the game. Monoma did have an emblem. He does, of course, have voice lines as well, and he's a character that would be interesting for people to play because he can also copy quirks. So they already kind of have that in the game as a system with All for One, so it wouldn't be that hard probably for them to introduce a Monoma either. So we'll have to see how that ends up working out. But we'll take a quick look at some of these voice lines just so you guys can hear them. We'll start with Hawks, of course. Alright, so this is Hawks' voice lines. We're not going to play the whole video. We'll play like a short little snippet of each one just so you guys can kind of hear. These are going to be Japanese voices only, so keep that in mind. So that's the introduction when you log into the game, right? And then it sounds like you got some taunts and stuff like that, him saying hi to other characters, and this just goes on for like 6 minutes. 6 minutes of voice lines. It's insane, right? Okay, so next let's take a look at Mina, who doesn't have a character emblem yet, but I guess has voice lines. Alright, so here is Mina. Oh, she didn't say the Ultra Rumble. Oh, I wonder, she's probably not very far along then. Okay, so interesting. I wonder how far along Mina actually is, because she doesn't have an emblem. She didn't say My Hero Academia Ultra Rumble, and this right here is a picture from Ultra Impact, the mobile gacha game. So I am a bit curious about like how did they just rip My Hero Ultra Impact voice lines? That would be that'd be funny if they did that. I hope they didn't, but you know what? It's a possibility. So who knows? Let's take a look at one more. All right, let's do Mirio as our last one. Okay, he did the Ultra Rumble too. He could be very close to release. He could be. I'm excited for Mirio, man. His voice lines sound great too. He's just such a happy character. I really want him to come to the game too. It's between him or Hawks for me, personally, for the characters I would like to see next. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Which character do you want to come to the game next, and then also give me your guess of who do you think realistically is coming to the game next, you know? So 2 different guesses. Who do you want? Who do you think is actually going to come to the game next for My Hero Ultra Rumble? And as news pops up for the game, I will try to cover it, but once again, you will probably see a few less videos from me on this particular game, unless they just give us a bunch of like back-to-back hype fire content, then I will cover that right away, right? But I don't want to just keep doing a bunch of pointless videos that aren't going to give you guys useful information. Like, I feel like this is useful information right here. I feel like a lot of people are going to be excited to kind of go and listen to these voice lines, and to also, if you're new to the game, know that these characters are potentially eventually coming to the game. If you guys would like to see any other content outside of news related content for My Hero Ultra Rumble, let me know in the comments as well what type of content you would like to see for the game on the channel. And if you guys did enjoy the video, please consider going down there, hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, and thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.